What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Squeeze the Juice. It is championship weekend, AFC and NFC. It's going to be a big Sunday. Lots of talent, lots of, I don't know, there's just a lot of storylines. People are there's been a lot of discussion in the media, what's the best storyline of the season with these four teams, left? Is it, man, Mahomes just can't be stopped and he just keeps getting it done no matter what? Is it Lamar and this dominant Ravens team and they're about to get, they believed in his process, they paid him, and he's about to deliver them a Super Bowl? Is it the Niners with all this talent? Are they finally going to get it done after year knocking on the door? Or is it the Lions, what people may at times call the Cinderella, are not saying anymore, but they're legit and they're on the doorstep of a potential Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think outside of the Chiefs, I think we both expected three of these four teams into conference championship Sunday. And that being the Ravens, Niners.
Are you talking about based on last week's games?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we both were on the Bills. But I think we expected these teams to be here. And I think that is a testament to not only the resume that they've built over the course of the season, but I think more so just the coaching staff, the talent, the quarterback play. Like, it's all there for these four teams. And now it comes down to just two games, right? 2 games to decide who is going to play for it all. And obviously, each team has their own storyline. Each team has their own story to be written, right? But at the end of the day, I think we have the 4 best teams in football, and we are going to get a phenomenal Super Bowl matchup regardless of the outcomes. But let's bring it back to last week. We had 4 great games for the most part in their own way. First one, Texans, Ravens. Texans, just it was the end of the line for them.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ravens, why I say this game was great, mainly because the Ravens just showed their dominance. That was an impressive performance. They looked a little sluggish in the first half, but they came out in the second half and dominated. And that was very impressive to see. Lamar Jackson, they might just have the team, and it might just be
the year,
a wrecking ball. Yeah, I'm not really sure. But any takeaways from that one outside of the Ravens' dominance?
No, I think you got to just be appreciated that moment and just be in enjoyment of the potential future of the Texans, honestly.
Yeah,
with
C.J. Stroud, D'Amico Ryans, that defense.
It's true. Like
that offense. They got a full team.
Yeah, and they got more to come, right? You're gonna have guys you can sign in the offseason. You're gonna have another draft. Obviously, it's not. You made the choice, right? You traded Will Anderson, but it really paid off. You see how it all worked out. So it all worked out for them. But you just see the potential of the Texans going forward. And, the resilience of this team. They still kept going time after time, even though the Ravens just kept scoring on them. The sky's the limit, honestly, for the Texans going into next year. And I think that's the thing you could be most hopeful for. That's probably the thing. That's one of the things I took away from that game is, like, obviously the Ravens are like, we got the guys, we're veterans, we're here, and we're just ready to roll, right? And the Texans are just, there's so much youth to them, right? And they're a building organization, but a building organization after these tough years in the right direction.
I agree 100%. Game 2, Niners, Green Bay. This was a game that Green Bay should have won, flat out.
Plain and simple.
The dropped interceptions, the missed field goal. It felt like a team that was making those youthful mistakes that we kind of feared. This is one of the youngest teams in the league. And while they were playing absolutely sensational for most of that game, too many critical mistakes in big moments led to their demise. And unfortunately for Packer Nation, for the cheeseheads out there, they're not advancing in the postseason. And then, Jordan Love, what can you say? He had a great second half of the year and into the postseason. He looks like the guy for Green Bay. But that pass, man, that was a terrible decision. You had a chance to at least give your team the opportunity to potentially extend the game or win the game.
Yeah,
and that throw was just not it.
People were talking about, people were making jokes saying, oh, the NFL is rigged because Jordan Love wouldn't have thrown that pass, but they just wanted it to be end, so he just chucked it up. I'm like, yeah. They went and told him, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna sell my team to go to the NFC Championship game right now. Like, that doesn't work like that, people.
It was just funny to me that Jordan Love, who was nearly perfect all night, he's one who's got the turnovers.
Yeah.
And then Brock Purdy, who was terrible for most of the night, made some horrible passes, and they just got dropped, or the play wasn't made. He's, 0 turnovers, unscathed. It's like there was one quarterback on the field that deserved to advance, and it was Jordan Love. The other one played a horrendous. I'm trying to think of a more dominant word, like it was a terrible game. It was a terrible. Ferocious. I was thinking ferocious and horrific. Ferocious.
It was
it was just horrendous, and I don't really know what else to say. He got lucky, and CMC bailed him out, and
absolutely.
We'll see if he repeats that performance in the NFC Championship game.
Those moments to have back, but the game when they were allowed to, then when CMC broke free, that was the shift right there.
Yeah,
like the Packers were they were letting the Niners hang around in that game.
They were,
and those choke. We talk about it. You talk about the one interception, but purely the first one that should have been a walk-in pick six.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking. You have either one of those. And that's game.
Insane.
Honestly, the way that game was going, the momentum would have just killed it. So it's unfortunate, right? You look at that though, right? Moving forward, the Niners. Is it a concern? Are you're so dominant at moments, but are you showing flashes of that streak? I get Trent Williams was out, and that was a big thing for Brock Purdy. But are you showing flashes of like, hey, we're an amazing team, but we're not dominant.
Yeah, and
that's why the Ravens rolled them on Christmas.
And that's something that is going to be definitely on people's minds. And what I think the Lions need to be wary of is what kind of San Fran team are we getting? And I think you kind of adjust your game plan accordingly. But also, you gotta let San Fran know, we're that team too. Mm-hmm. And speaking of that team, they go ahead and cover the spread against the Buccaneers. Defense still in question. I mean, they've given up 350 yards to the past 6 quarterbacks they've played, so that is a bit of a concern. But it is kind of working for them too in a weird way. The Lions able to win 31-23. But the defense really, I think, is the big concern for everyone, is how is it going to fare against this elite offense in San Francisco?
You're not wrong. It's they play with, the Niners defense plays with just straight aggression, tenacity, and Greenlaw, was it Greenlaw and Warner, or is it Kinlaw? Who's their other? I can't.
Greenlaw.
Is it Greenlaw? Greenlaw and Warner. They are great tacklers and everything. But when you see them play, they look like they're headhunting. They really do, and it's pretty crazy to look at. So they got to be aware and locked in of where those guys are on the field. Jared Goff cannot be, putting his guys out to get, killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make the good clean passes that we know you can do, right? And you just got to be smart with it. The secondary is still really good. They're not as good as they have been to me in past years, but it's still a really good secondary. It's all about the strength of the line against the Young and Bosa coming off the edge.
Yeah, and we're obviously going to get into it a lot more here. But just a very good performance from the Lions. The offense was clicking. The Bucs really just ran out of steam at the end of the game. And while Baker played admirably, he made those crucial mistakes that we've seen Baker prone to make. And ultimately, that is probably what led to their defeat. But a great season nonetheless for the Buccaneers. Nobody expected them to be here. Nobody gave them a chance to even win a playoff game halfway through the season. But they made it to the divisional round with a team that was kind of retooling, but similar to the Brady teams of the past.
They just seemed like
they were able to find a way.
They just seemed like they had more gel, right? The Panthers coming in, they were just we didn't know what was gonna happen, but they were struggling early.
Yeah.
The Falcons, their coach, done, plain and simple.
Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you have talent, right? Coach, that's the issue. Obviously, quarterback troubles are still another thing, but like overall, right? You could have won more games. And then the Saints, I don't know what the Saints are.
They just
They're just out there throwing hands, honestly, and just like getting some wins, getting some losses, and like they just have no identity. They're just out there playing some ball. Like, I don't know. And then I know, but the Bucks just had guys who had proper experience, and then they played well together, and they just got the job done in a lot of moments. So
yeah,
pretty simple there.
And then in the last game, maybe the best game of the weekend, or at least in the conversation, right? I mean, there was only 4, but still, Bills Chiefs. To me, it felt like the Bills lost this game more than the Chiefs won it.
Agreed.
But I have to give respect to the Chiefs' defense and to Andy Reid and Mahomes. You know, it wasn't the greatest performance offensively. It wasn't vintage Chiefs, but you know what it was? It was just enough to win the game in a tough road environment. And it was impressive nonetheless. I mean, this is a Chiefs team that just won't go away. And even though they're clearly not the same team they were a year ago, 2 years ago, etc., they are still a absolute threat to win it all. And
of course,
I have not been giving them enough credit. But it's about time I start to, because I mean they just are earning it each and every week.
It's concerning, right? Moving forward, whatever happens after this game, it's concerning because you're thinking about the team they have and how good their actual defense is this year, right? And they're still here. They can go and get receivers in the offseason, right?
Yeah.
Rashee Rice is still good. I mean, like
potentially, if they want to go that route. I mean,
obviously they can do other things, right? You know,
Yeah.
they can maybe build the O-line a little more. They could invest in it. I don't know.
keep adding to the defense.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
Keep adding to the defense. I feel like those would be the two things, right? At first, I was like run game, but I'm like, wait, Pacheco, because they've had their bouncing back between Clyde and McKinnon, but that still worked. Like they got to Super Bowls and won them, so it's like it's not the worst thing, right?
No,
They're just as long as they can get some yards out of their back, and they're fine.
No, but it was super impressive performance. Just the thing that sucks for me is Josh Allen. You know, I hate to see him continue to lose these games because I genuinely do like Josh Allen as a player and as a, just as a quarterback and a person. Like I do like his game a lot, but he just, whether it be him or his team, there's just something always preventing Buffalo from getting to the next step, from advancing further into the postseason. And it's just so frustrating and almost like you just feel so sympathetic towards their fan base and to the team. It's like
they finally got it at home.
And right? I know as Lions fans, like, I mean, I'm sure everyone feels sympathy towards us too, but I'm just saying, like, I do feel bad for the city of Buffalo. Like, it sucks to continue to lose, even though you've been told and promised that you have the quarterback and you have the team, you have the coach. It's just, it would be very frustrating to live in that reality, like thinking you're so close and yet you just can never get over the hump.
Is it McDermott?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
Well, a lot of people are talking about him leaving or like that they should get rid of him, but I don't know, right? He still has success every year. So
they won the AFC East, right? They lost in a heartbreaking fashion. Like it's difficult. Do you just let your coach go?
What shifted though? Joe Brady.
He did come in, and I think the offense looked better. But Stephon Diggs, he was a bit of an issue. He did not perform at all in the second half of the season, and in the playoff game,
big games, disappearance.
He disappeared, and then when they needed him most, he dropped a bomb from Josh Allen, went right through his hands. That's unacceptable. Especially when you're the number one guy. You're
the one who's
one of the elite wide receivers in the NFL.
And you're the one, and a lot of off seasons are acting like everyone else is the problem.
Yeah.
Was that last year? He was acting like everyone was the problem?
Everyone else was the problem.
Like, and you go and you come back and play like that?
It's tough to see. Tough to see. But we got 2 games for you. That was the week, the divisional week wrap-up. We were 1-3 on the week. Terrible.
Tough
scenes. So I'm now 53, 47, and 5, which is all right, whatever. Justin falling under 500, 48, 49, and 5. So he will need a nice week to get back above 500, but we only got 2 games, so he's got to hit on both of them.
Yeah, to maintain over 500, I have to hit both of these.
Yeah.
Because the Super Bowl You know, if I lose the Super Bowl, then that means I'd finish 500 if I was
Right.
perfect this week. So,
But we got conference championship ball, and you have an opportunity. So let's get it going.
all right. Game 1, the AFC Championship. Patrick, Mr. AFC Championship Mahomes,
6 straight.
heads to on the road for his second playoff game. Can he do it on the road too? He did it in Buffalo. They head to Baltimore. Baltimore favored at home by 3.5. Little hook out there for you. I mean, this is pretty much, you could right at this moment in time, you could. I mean, obviously, now that Josh Allen's out, this is the battle of the two best quarterbacks in the AFC.
Yeah,
Right now
for sure. I mean, you can make the argument that they are the two best teams, even.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way the Ravens are playing, and I mean, I don't know anyone who would doubt Mahomes and Andy Reid right now. I mean, anyone might just take the winner of the AFC Championship game in the Super Bowl, any casual better. But in terms of public betting, in both of these games, it is practically 50-50, all right? So you are not getting a real sense of a favorite here in the eye of the public when it comes to spread betting. So this really just makes it tough. Like, which way are you leaning? And for me, I have doubted Mahomes for way too long. I've doubted the Chiefs for way too long. They have not looked the part for much of the season. But when push comes to shove, it is so tough for me to just count them out of this game. Like, they're just going to get blown out or they're going to lose by less than a field goal. I mean, the hook here is massive. And not only that, but Lamar Jackson has played a handful of playoff games. And I'm not convinced that he's just going to, walk in against this KC defense, even though they're at home, and put up a masterclass performance. I'm just not convinced. I think it is going to be low scoring. I think the offenses are going to struggle to move the ball against each other. But ultimately, I'm going to go with my heart on this one, man. And I think the Chiefs not only cover the spread, but I think they win. And I'm just going to close my eyes and believe in Mahomes and Reid. I'm submitting to the truth. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game.
Crazy.
But I really have nothing else to say. I'm going to take the 3.5. Just to be safe here, I'm not totally convinced they win, but I feel like that's what my gut's telling me. And while we hate betting against Baltimore because whenever we bet against them, they win, and whenever
we pick them, they
lose. It's Mahomes, man, and it's just different. And I don't think Lamar's there. I don't. So I'm taking the Chiefs.
I mean, Ravens win by 3. Then we're right on schedule, right?
Yeah, we're right on schedule.
We win, but the Ravens still win. I'll tell you what, man, it's going to be really interesting to see this, right? Because we talk, like you said, you're like, Lamar's only had so many postseason games, right? And what is he known for? Choking in prime time.
Exactly.
And everyone's just like, he's a different Lamar. He played against basically a rookie Texans team. Like, respect to them, but like, you're playing your easiest opponent, that you're going to face.
No, and this Chiefs defense is strong on every level. They are not weak really at all. I mean, they have a phenomenal cornerback duo in L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie.
Mm-hmm.
Their defensive line is great. Nick Bolton, the linebacker, is an absolute monster. He's a wrecking machine. So you have all these guys at different levels against a Ravens team that has definitely evolved in terms of being a little bit more pass first, and they've just changed their philosophy. But when that isn't working, is Lamar just going to go straight to his legs? Like, is he going to get frazzled and rattled in this game? Are they going to go to the run game? Like, I'm just not really sure if the Chiefs can throw them off in any way, shape, or form, how Lamar adjusts. Because I do feel like everything this season has been kind of easy for the Ravens. But in their latest struggle against the Rams, they needed a kick return or a punt return touchdown to walk it off in overtime. And the Rams were hotter than anyone. And they finished the season hot. To me, yeah, the Chiefs are playing as good a ball as anyone right now. And it's going to take a lot for this Ravens team to overcome that. And I just don't think I'm buying into the Ravens hype just yet. I need to see it to believe it first.
Lamar has to prove. This is probably obviously he has 2 games, right? forget the Texans game. I don't care. That's not proving nothing to me. This game and potentially the Super Bowl are your
Yeah.
prove-it moments.
And you know
And above
what?
all else, this, right?
And you know what? I didn't love his comments too this week, saying about Mahomes, like, what do you love? What do you like the most about going up against Mahomes?
I don't.
And he was like, I don't. And it's like, wait, you're the franchise quarterback. You should love going against an elite quarterback like Mahomes because it gives you an opportunity to prove yourself. And
Yeah, you
and
want a
prove-
cakewalk? You want a cakewalk? It's not the reality, buddy.
I mean, as true as it might be, I mean, no one probably likes playing Mahomes, right?
No.
But at the end of the day, like, you want your quarterback to have that killer instinct, saying like, no, I live for these moments. Like, I love going up against Mahomes because he's considered the best, and I want to beat the best.
That's what it is, right?
That's what he should have said, but instead he was like, I don't like going up against Mahomes. It's like, I don't know if
mentality.
your mindset's there right now. And I know he said later on, like, to be the champion, you got to go through the
And that's
champion.
true.
That's fair, but like, I just don't think
He's back and forth mentally.
I just don't think it's all there sometimes. Like you need to look at this game differently. Like, and to me, it sounds like he's scared of Mahomes. Like he doesn't think the Ravens are the best team. Like, you are the best team. Show it. Like, don't be afraid of Mahomes. Don't run from the competition. Embrace it.
You're not the one. You're not going up against him directly. You're not on the defense, like, right?
You're
like,
at
handle
home.
your business.
They're coming into your barn, and you've been a dominant team all year long. What are you afraid of? Like, what? Why are you scared?
You're gonna
So
sit him in the
I
back.
just feel like there's a bit of a mental issue when it comes to I'm going up against Mahomes, and that scares me. And that can be for Josh Allen. That could be for any quarterback. The only one that really hasn't had that fear is Joe Burrow. Honestly, when it comes to playing the Chiefs in prime time, he's the only QB that hasn't really feared them, and I think it's led to wins. Honestly. So while it's not just a Lamar Jackson issue, because I do think there's something psychological there with Josh Allen as well, there's just this thing where we're going up against Mahomes and the Chiefs, and it's just too big of an obstacle to overcome.
Mhm.
And I just don't really buy into that mindset. Like, you are the best team. You are the number one seed. You're at home. You're the MVP. You're about to be a 2-time MVP. You can win this game. Don't be afraid of Mahomes and the Chiefs just because they're champions.
You're not wrong.
It's just
Plain.
some of those
stand on that business.
Some of those quotes are just crazy. Like, you're the franchise guy. Like, if Goff said that, I'd be like, dude, come on. What are you like? I know Goff wouldn't say that.
Have you
because-
seen those comments he's made this week?
Yeah, Goff is he's very well spoken at the mic, and not to say that Lamar isn't, but I think he says the right things a lot of times. Like, he's very well versed in like what I need to say to the media. For Lamar to say that is just crazy. That's a crazy take. That's a crazy quote.
Because then you're also giving
Even if it's true,
you're also giving
you don't admit,
partial
you shouldn't admit
leverage,
that.
right?
Yeah, you are.
Chiefs are like, all right, we're gonna feed on this guy, right?
He just sounds scared. That's the way I see it. That's the way I interpret it. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just, you should not be scared.
I don't have anything else to say, man. It's Mahomes.
So you're on the Chiefs.
I am on the
All
Chiefs
right.
plus 3.5, especially with that hook.
It's a great hook.
It is a great hook. That's why you love to see it, and you know that they can do it, but the Ravens are public enemy number one.
Yeah, honestly, I hate the Chiefs, but I do not want to see Baltimore advance.
I don't want to. I wish the Super Bowl was the Lions Niners. Honestly,
I wish it was the Bills, like in the spot.
Yeah, I
It'd
know,
be an
I
easy team to
agree.
root for. But
yeah, I know. A lot of people wanted Bills Lions. Last weekend, a lot of people were like, "I want to see Bills Lions." You know,
it would have been fun,
right?
It
Because
would've
one
been
of
a
those
lot of
teams
fun.
would have finally gotten their Super Bowl.
right? Yeah, it's not just the logos of the franchises that
I would have been concerned
everyone
trying to tackle
recognizes and
our defense trying to tackle Josh Allen on the run. But hey.
Anzalone would have gotten them for sure. No.
With those broken ribs.
Unfortunately, it won't be a matchup we'll be able to anticipate. But this matchup coming up next, we will be able to, and I cannot wait. It's been on my mind all week long.
It's great quarterbacks, great coaches, but one's just a better duo.
Yeah, I agree.
Plain and simple.
I agree.
So we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's going to be a good game. No matter whether there's high or low scoring, it's going to be a good game. So we'll see what happens. If the Chiefs blew them out, you have to rethink everything. To me,
I don't know about rethink everything.
I do because How do you explain that with your pure dominance?
I just don't think the Chiefs can blow them out. I don't think
That's what I'm
I don't think
saying,
they're
though.
capable of doing it.
That's
Like,
what I'm saying. Like, you got everything.
I mean, maybe it was just a bad game. I don't know.
Now's not the time to have a bad game.
I know, but like I'd have to see it. I'd have to watch the blowout happen. I can't give you an answer right now.
That's fair. All right, we're locking it in. Ugh, another. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what to think anymore with these guys. Unfortunately, the Bills aren't here, man. All right, game 2, NFC Championship. The freaking Lions, man. They are there. They head to the Bay. Niners favored at home by 7. Debo maybe in, maybe out. The Lions have had some banged up guys from the Bucs game. You know, most should be playing though.
Yeah, the only one I think will be missing is Jonah Jackson.
Correct. He had
James Houston maybe, and
he has been full participant in practice all week. I believe Anzalone and Laporta and
battling through it.
yeah, they were battling through it. Raymond hasn't practiced, but they said he's looking upward, so don't know about his status. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. But yeah, Lions head on the road. Jared Goff back home, where it all started for him. Just either north, just a little north or a little south. I'm not exactly sure of the Bay, but you know he's going where he grew up, pretty much. Back where it all started, right? He was the hometown guy, you know. Northern California, goes to Cal, gets drafted number 1 overall, the Rams, and you know. Yeah. He knows California football. It's going to be a warm day for him, which is huge because man does not know, well, not know, but he does not perform well in the cold.
No.
So this is huge. I don't know, man. It's tough going both ways, right? You know, could this be the end? I'm not 100% certain it's the end for the Lions. You know, it's definitely a winnable game, but you really got to lock in, right? You got to play your best game. You got to play your best game of the season. You got to play your best ball. You got to make all the right decisions, and you can't be concerned with the one guy asked that question. He's like, you know, both teams have a lot of good guys, but they may have more elite, more star-studded guys, right? You know,
maybe
there's
guys
that big discussion.
Seen as elite in like the public eye as opposed to the Lions.
And Goff answered that great, right? He's like, you know, that simply, you know, those guys maybe have been getting a lot more attention over the years, you know, because they're put on that platform, right? Yeah. And our guys are finally getting respected, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, I think you look at both of these teams, they play similar styles of football.
Copying plays?
They do. I mean, we've seen that from time to time this season. But I think they do play similar brands of football. They're both built through the O-line offensively, and then they've added just tremendous talent on the outside and in the ground game with 2 QBs that are a bit more game managing type, but they both are great for their offenses in their own way. The key here is which defense steps up, right? I think we've seen the Niners defense be dominant a lot of times during the course of the season, but we've also seen them have some games where they struggle and they just are not looking the part. Teams gashing them on the ground, guys getting open in the secondary. The Niners secondary is not great. It's always been their one issue. They've been fantastic up front. Front seven's been great for them. And they have maybe the best linebacking core in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you can throw on them. You can find ways to get them outside. So really, it comes down to which defense steps up, which defense creates a turnover. Because I do think this game is going to be tough. I think it's going to be close. And it might be a shootout, or it might be maybe similar to that Rams-Lions game from the wild card round, where they're in the low 20s, but it's back and forth battling out. Points are kind of a luxury to come by, right? So I think this could go either way. But ultimately, to me, it just comes down to which defense creates a stop or creates a turnover or gets a big sack. There's going to be a ton of back and forth in this game. And I think Dan Campbell has said it best over the course of the week. He was saying, like, we're going to, have a couple of plays where it's not looking good for us, but it's about the next play. All right. if we just keep focusing on what we need to do next, we're going to be all right. And I think the mindset is there for this Lions team. And I'm not saying they win. Obviously, we are rooting for them like crazy.
Mhm.
And what a moment it would be. I mean, this is to put it in perspective. Like, we've never had this before.
We don't know.
Like,
It's not understood.
the Lions have never really been in this spot. They haven't been in it since 1992, and before that, it was 1957. So they're, I think, or maybe 19.
Before it was actually like
yeah.
the NF.
So before this, in the Super Bowl era, we've only had one NFC Championship appearance. That was back in '92. So we are really getting a taste of this for the first time, and it's just surreal. It's a surreal moment, really. But I think this team believes they can do it, and I think the fans and the nation needs to start believing this team can do it. Lions +7.
Oh,
Easily.
There it is. There it is. I'll tell you what. I like this when this was sitting at 7.5.
7.5, whatever.
Same business.
Because I think the Lions can win this game.
I do too. There's a lot to look at. I don't know why I was sitting here while you were talking, and for whatever reason, one man's name kept bobbing in and out of my mind. Of like, man, what a moment if he had a big game now. Do you know who that man would be?
David Montgomery.
No. He has a similar nickname to who else I'm thinking of.
J-Mo, maybe?
Yes.
All right. I mean, it could be the J-Mo game. We're kind of like waiting on it. He's had some nice plays.
He has. He's gotten better at his catching, ability. It's unfortunate, right? He's being put in a lot of tough catch situations,
and he's making them.
He is making them, and that's the huge thing, right? He's not always getting hit all the time. But he still has
this label that he doesn't have hands.
Yeah,
he's making these great catches.
It's because he's only getting so many catches a game. If you want to talk about his blocking stats, they're probably unreal.
Probably.
But I don't know why. Something about me, my mind was like, all right, it's overtime. Goff throws a perfect ball to J-Mo, and what does J-Mo do? He catches on the sideline, and it's him versus a defender down the field, almost like that Tyreek Hill play that won them against the Bills in overtime.
Yeah.
Almost that situation, and it's a 1v1 run to the house. Oh, I don't know why that was in my mind. I literally played that out in my mind.
No, I would love for a J-Mo game. I would love for him to have the San Francisco secondary in shambles.
Right.
That'd be awesome. But you just don't get the sense that they're using him in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they might take a shot or two to him in this game, but the dependence really is on ARSB, Laporta, this running attack, and even Josh Reynolds. Goff is going to go to the guys that he feels the most comfortable with. I think after, regardless of how this season goes, if they win at all even, you're going to see year 3 J-Mo in a much different light than you saw year 1 and year 2 J-Mo, because you're going to have a full summer, a full off season,
but also potentially
camp.
New coordinator too, though.
Potentially, but if they go in house, I'm pretty confident that they'll keep things consistent, and the offense will just keep it. It'll pick up right where it left off.
That's fair. I'm +7 too. I know we had the same picks last week. We went 1-3.
I know, but it's a Super Bowl, matchup on the line here, and it's no surprise we're on Chiefs and Lions, covering the spread.
Take the
both
plus,
of the road teams. It's a bit scary, but I think when you're the underdog on the road in these kinds of moments, the pressure isn't on you. The pressure is on the 1 seed. It's on the home team.
It is. Both of these guys got a lot on the line, these 1 seeds.
They do.
Right.
And I think for the Chiefs, obviously they want to repeat. Obviously they want to get back. But at the same time, maybe they don't want it as badly as the other 3 teams do, and that might be playing against them. But there's also that championship pedigree. And
Bama vibes.
Right. And I just think sometimes you just have a team that knows how to win games. When it comes down to these 2 teams, I don't think we really know if either can win the big game. I think we've seen them win big games, but this is the big game.
The game that trumps all big games.
And when it's Goff and Purdy, we need to see it. and this is going to be it. This is going to be the show, the spectacle. Everything is on the line, and hopefully it's Honolulu blue and Kansas City red and gold in the Super Bowl. I know the color theory is at play here. It's red and purple, so they're thinking San Fran and Baltimore. I hate that. That's the only thing.
You want the colors to fade, and you want it to be a brighter red in the Chiefs and switch and fade out to a light blue.
Yeah, something like that. Just please. But look, man, at the end of the day, like they're gonna play it out on the field, and whether the color theory is right or not, I don't know. But it's awesome. This is what we've been waiting for, man. It doesn't get better than this.
I'll tell you what, man. You look at these games, right, and it comes down to it, right? No matter what happens here, what a ride. Whatever happens here, it's like, what happened?
Well, it could be the end of the road.
Or finally.
Yeah.
Right?
End of the road or finally.
Yeah.
You're right.
For this, it's what a ride.
And, what a ride this season was, but also, like, hope for the future.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Lions are looking at it like that. I really think this team is.
They're
like,
looking at
we can win this
next.
all. We can win it all. Like, we can do this.
Man, could you imagine?
Hey, I got a bet placed from last year's Super Bowl on the boys.
I remember that.
Riding it out.
Riding it hot.
They give me a cash out. I can double my money. But I'm not going to do that.
No,
we're going to wait and see. I might cash out if they win this game. But
I guess it would depend on who they play, right?
Or if they're like winning in like the third quarter, maybe I just like slide it out, just to get a little bit of buck, But no, I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be great. We're gonna run it back.
Yeah, I guess we'll.
Just
run
the
it back
two
really quick.
games.
Chiefs, Ravens, AFC Championship game. Me and Justin both on the Chiefs plus 3.5, and in the NFC Championship game, me and Justin both on the Lions plus 7. So those are your picks. You can fade us. You can, tail us, whatever you want to do. Regardless,
it's been a good season.
It's the Championship Sunday. It's the Championship Sunday. It's going to be awesome. And go
Real
Lions,
football.
man. Go Lions. All grit. # all grit.
You know the deal.
You know who's going to come out on top. Come on.
We're staying on business. No, we're staying on grit.
It's always about that grit.
Well, enjoy this weekend. Championship weekend, unfortunately, it is coming truly to an end. College is done. NFL slowly ending, but, right now, we got 3 more. 3 more games in us. Don't watch the Pro Bowl. But look forward to next week. We'll be recapping these games and the new year number 2 QB list.
Yep, we got the QB list.
Will be coming out.
That'll be out. And then we also have just a quick roundup of our preseason predictions. We can go through those as well.
Yes.
So that'll be fun to dive into. As we have the Super Bowl approaching, we'll really be able to get like a full, feel for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So cannot wait for that.
Lots to come. But we will catch you in the next one. Enjoy the games, y'all. Peace.